Hello, this is Jeremy and this is chess time, and I am playing one of my games. Is a ranked game that I played yesterday. It was me, Bags, versus Ark, and it starts, I'm white, he's black. If we can notice, let's step back for a second and we'll analyze the board. I wanted to get these moves in for one thing, to show you that, see how I'm controlling the center, the center squares, and he has a d6 pawn. I know what he's planning to do. He's going to push his e pawn to e5, or sometimes in this type of an opening, he'll push to e6, and then he'll develop his bishop, his other bishop, and he'll bring his knight out. And then he'll start with like an e5 push, or sometimes they do a d5 push to open up the lines so that his pieces could attack. But you'll see that I don't allow that to happen. Watch and see. He's going to, see, if we notice, trying to fianchetto his bishop. I go, don't think so, don't think so. I'm hammering now the central, 2 pawns. So he brings his bishop out, fianchettos, getting ready to, as we notice, castle. I go, don't think so. I protect, because if he moves like over here or over there, he'd have an attack on my piece. Now I have 3 defenders, he only has 1 attacker. He does castle. Remember, what we say, king safety is important. Remember, it's important. But sometimes we have to leave our king in the center. Very rarely do we do that. And sometimes we wait, develop our queen side, then castle queen side. So don't always think that you have to castle king side, because king side could sometimes spell your doom, because he'll have his king pawns pushed almost passed into your area, and then he'll just storm your king side. So if you see there's a huge advance on the king side with his pawns, try to castle queen side, and then counter him on the king side, and just try to hold your own. Otherwise, you'll get checkmated really easy. I move my bishop. I'm getting ready, as we see, castle too. Moves his rook to e8, getting ready for the advance of the e to pawn to e5. I move my bishop up, not my bishop, queen, to d2, getting ready to move my bishop to maybe h6, or maybe put pressure at g5, all depends what opens up. He moves his knight, he's attacking my bishop, but, you know, that's not good, remember? He moved the knight twice. He should have got his queen side pieces out. Or he could have started with maybe a breaking line. He should have maybe did c5, maybe. Or he could have fianchettoed his other bishop, because that would have put some pressure on the e4 pawn, my e4. But you know, he likes to be aggressive. Sometimes too much aggressiveness will cost you the game, and you'll see here that it does. And I say castle queen side. The reason I'm castling queen side is I have all my pieces hammering down his king side. It's kind of risky to castle. A lot of the grandmasters that I've studied and watched have said that castling on opposite sides provoke a huge conflict quick, and whoever can handle the defense and the attack will end up being victorious. So you got to remember, you're provoking him to storm his queen pawns when you castle on the queen side. And by me doing that, I can storm my king pawns on his king side. So it's a battle who can basically cut the other one down before the other one cuts the other guy down. He does take my bishop. I don't mind that, because then I can take with my queen or maybe a pawn. Oops. And I do take with my queen. He plays his knight to D7, which I think a better move if it was me, since I don't have any a dark squared bishop. Probably should have played A5, then maybe B6, and then maybe brought his pawn from C to C5. But that's what I would have did, because he's got to get these pawns rolling. Otherwise, he's going to get destroyed, and he does. You'll see. And I challenge the E file. I see that I can hold my own because I have two defenders. And he does. Remember what I said? Push the A pawn. See? I told you. But it cost him. He should have did it sooner. I now push my H4 pawn. Remember what we said? Whoever can get and attack the king first wins. Because remember, we're castling opposite sides. Remember? Opposite sides. And he pushes A4. That's an okay move, but I can block him with A3. You see that? Then he has to bring his other pawn down, and it's not good for him. And I do block. See, what I did was, he now has to waste a move. Do you see that? To get down there and break my pawn right there. So, and it also keeps his knight from coming to the powerful B4 square, which then he can play to A2, attacking my king. Or he can put, maybe you can even put like a bishop or a queen there. Then he does play. Originally he's going to play that, so he's going to push his C pawn. He's going to try to attack the base of my chain, my D4 pawn, because you see, D4 pawn is actually protecting the E5 pawn. But I push onward, because if he moves his pawn here, I'll take, and then he'll have two pawns right here, and I'll have my rook open for the attack. And remember this right here. This is an important piece. It's the champion. In the end. And I see that he's planning on attacking, so I trade right away. See, what did we decide? I'm gonna try to open these files up so I can get my pieces in there. He takes with his F7 pawn to G6. Play my knight in there. By doing that, we always got to remember, what do you leave behind? When he took my pawn, when he took my pawn here, he left a weakness, the G5, also left the H6. This is protected, the F6, but if this pawn ever moves, I can bring my pawn storm down, bring my knight over, and I have a nice little outpost there. Okay, he moves he's trying to defend. He sees the problem of the rook. Do you see that? H1, H7 pawn is having a problem. I have him now in what is called a clamp. And I'm going to clamp him, and I'm going to bring him down. Watch and see how I emphasize that. Remove my queen. I am now threatening checkmate in 2. Queen to F7 check, moves his king. Or I could bring my knight over, that'd be a check, and then I could bring my knight over and come in here and attack him. All depends. But he does do a very bad move. You'll see. I'll point it out to you later on in the game. The bishop move. I'm not so sure that was actually a very good move. He did. People would say that he did open up a spot for his, connecting of his queen, rook pieces, but I don't know if that was such a good move. Maybe he should have tried to kick my knight out with maybe the pawn, pushing the pawn, kick this strong outpost out. But he didn't. This will end up being one of his demise spots. Remember the bishop. And I do emphasize on that because I'm trying to pull away his bishop so that I can have, remember, the weak spots right there. Because I have a rook and a queen. Boy, that was a blunder. This was a huge blunder. The queen movement was a big time. I'd give it 2 question marks if it was me, and that means huge and gross blunder. Because he should have traded, would have brought my queen off of the diagonal for an attack. Then I would have had to make another move to bring it back. He would have had time to push his pawn, and he could have repelled my knight. That was a mistake. Remember, don't be too hasty. Think about it. Sometimes the defense of a piece will cost you the game. And I see that bishop takes bishop. My bishop takes the check. Look at that. A check. He has to take with his knight. And I will, after I take with the knight, I'm going to step back and let you guys see, what do I play? There's 2 moves. I could play knight takes, or I could play queen takes. Which one's the best? Is knight takes or queen takes? I'll let you take a second and see. Correct. The queen is the best move. That is his demise. He moves here, moves his g8, and c'est la vie. Checkmate. That was Bags, my game Bags, versus Ark.